And there has been this dialogue around what is success for a Black company. Mm-hmm. Is it that you build it and you sell big and you make a whole bunch of money and you get out the way and whatever? Or is it that you build a legacy brand where it gets passed on to your children, your children's children, you know what I mean? And it keeps going. So I don't know, man, like in my mind, I would love to be a legacy brand, right? In my mind, we'll see what happens. But like when you think of Gallo, the biggest wine company in the world, they're on their like 5th generation of Gallos that run that damn company, you know, and they, you know, no hate on them, you know, don't come get me Gallos, but right. And so this Italian, you know, hard-nosed guys built this company, right? They sneak through prohibition. They have to wiggle. They have to be strategic. I think they sell to like the Catholic Church because they're the only ones that could get wine at the time. So, and they survived that period. And then after that, blow back up, right? So, and again, do you want to be that? Like, to me, why is it that, and this is a bigger concept, like, why do we have to do that? Why do we have to, as Black companies, sell so much, right? Because
what up, tribe? We have an extremely special guest with us today. We have an entrepreneur, longtime friend of mine, and the founder of Ayaba Wines. This white peach sangria, as you see here, was made by this brother that you see on your screen right now. So I wanna introduce him formally, and then say a few things about the brother, and then we'll get into it, man, for sure. So, Jerry Bailey was born and raised in Oakland, California by a dedicated and hardworking single mother. Jerry graduated from Skyline High School and went to earn a BA degree from Columbia University and an MBA from CSU East Bay. Jerry currently teaches business and entrepreneurship at Las Positas Community College. Jerry's interest in wine began socially with his family. However, professionally, Jerry has a broad range of wine industry experience spanning over a decade. His firsthand knowledge ranges from sales representative to cellar worker to tasting room associate. When not busy with work or business, Jerry enjoys spending time with his 16-year-old son, attending one of the cool outdoor events in the Bay Area, or going on hikes to enjoy nature. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the man, Mr. Jerry Bailey. Welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you, man. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here, brother. Good to see you, man.
I tell you what, man, we go back to elementary school.
Right.
I've literally been knowing this guy almost my whole life.
Right.
Stand-up guy for sure. Very dedicated to his studies and just being a good person, man. And so we want to support the brand in every single way that we can, y'all. Yes, sir. So how you feeling though, man? How you feeling?
Man, I feel great, man. We're in the new year now. And it's exciting times, man. It's just, I feel, while the economy, there's some challenges, right? Looks like there's a recession. I think there's just a lot of opportunity for Black owned and Black led businesses. So I'm super juiced, man. And like I said, we go way back, man. We can't even count these years. I actually saw your brother about a week ago, man.
Is that right?
Yeah. I think TBS, I seen you, bro.
Yeah. That's what's up, man.
Sure.
You know, I want to check this out, bro, because you've been growing a brand and everything. I want to create a scenario here. So a person is at the wine bar, a person is at First Friday, where you sell every month, Oakland First Friday. Jerry is selling the product, right? And they've got choices. Right? There's a First Friday on Telegraph. There's the liquor store there. They can go and get whatever kind of Hennessy that they want, whatever kind of vodka. They could get whatever they want, right? At the wine bar, let's say Caribou, for example, where Ayaba is also sold. That's Caribou. That's a Black-owned wine bar in Alameda. And Jerry's Ayaba Wines is an option, right? So, but there are lots of other options for lots of this Pinot, this Chardonnay, this, that. What? Why should people choose your white peach sangria? Why? What makes it so special? Why should people choose that, man?
It's so special because it's a vibe, right? It's a blend of both wine and some spirit. So you get a little bit of and fruit forward. So it was designed to really complement our palate, right? Culturally speaking, right? Each culture has different, spices and flavors they use. And so this again came out of me making this for the women in my family. So it's going to be refreshing. It's going to be versatile, be able to drink with whatever else, whatever you're doing. And so that's what we say. And you're gonna feel it. So sip slow.
Listen, bro. Have you ever gotten high off your own supply?
Oh man, see, you got me confessing, man. Come on now. Why you bringing up old stuff?
Listen. Hey, listen, man. I got high off your supply. It's not mine, but I can say this, bro. So I've been supporting it for a long time, man.
Right.
Like
I just say that's a part of quality control, man. I got to make sure I, drink a certain amount to make sure it's all right for my consumers.
I First Friday, July 2022, man. I had one. You were there with Awkward Black Tribe to meet up a few people, and
you were there with beautiful folks too. They were
yeah. Shout out to Sisters Look Good, man. Yeah,
right.
for sure. And I tell you what. Oh, shout out to you. I'm on the official Ayaba.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna tell you on my website from that.
I'm on the
website,
right?
bro.
So before that, I don't drink too much, you know what I mean?
Right.
But on that, I don't know, whatever. July, middle of the summer, I said, why not? Hey. I had one. I said, ooh.
Oh man, yes, sir.
I had one. I said, oh, okay. I had another one. I said, oh, yo, this is real.
Oh, you went for a double. Okay.
I said, this is real, but it felt good, man. It felt real smooth, and it tastes good, man.
Thank you. Yeah, we worked on it for a while, man. I came a long way, man. My original formula that I was making, like in my grandma's pot I started with, much stronger and a lot sweeter as well. And so, as we brought it to the market, we had to back off a little bit. Yeah.
What went into that choice to back off?
Again, something that was going to be able to be palatable for everyone, or for a broader audience. It was, like I said, that thing was almost like syrup coming up out of that pot. So it would have been too strong, too sweet. And so again, the great thing about our product, right? You can make it your own. OSD does a great job. They make it into a spritzer. So that kind of like adds some acidity and adds some kind of bubbles to it. So that's really good. Like I said, if you want to sweeten it up, you can do that. You can add my good friend's a bartender. And so he makes a tequila drink out of it. And so, it's you can do things with it. So that's why we kind of just wanted to make it a little bit more like I say, palatable, easy drinking.
Right. Okay. Shout out to OSD. OSD also Black owned, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Man, my folks support me, man. I love all that. Black folks can't work together. I don't know that to be true. What's true to me is my community has supported me from the very beginning and still support me. They're my biggest accounts. They're the ones that order for me. I love my community. My folks love me and I love them.
Man, that's what's up, man.
Yes, sir.
That sounds good, man. Let me ask, bro, like, how did you learn how to even mix up alcohol? Like, how did this happen? Like, you really cook it up. Like, you're really hands-on with everything.
Right.
I know you went to undergrad for business, right? I
did not.
Oh, you did not?
No, I went to undergrad, man. I didn't know what I wanted to major in. I just was majoring and graduating, I ended up majoring in American Studies with an emphasis in sociology because for me, I really love people's story, right? I've always, there was no people major. I've always, when I just think about my life, I think humans are so interesting. They're so beautiful. They're so unique. And so American Studies, what I kind of was focusing in on within that major was the story of the US and different groups, right? With the sociology, different groups in the US, to understand kind of like, how do we get to today, right? I know for some folks, it's like, oh no, leave the past in the past. But I think it's really important, right? When we're thinking about us, being in a place today, we have to think about where we came from. And again, as a whole society. So anyway, in the long answer, but that's what I majored in. I didn't know what I want to do, but immediately after graduating, like business was where it's at. Actually, it's really weird, man. I tell you, like I said, my growing up in Oakland and community, Miss Shirley Deco gave me my first gig with Everett and Jones. They
Okay.
used to have, they used to have a spot right when you would cross the Coliseum.
Shout
to
out
go
to
over.
Everett and Jones
Everett and Jones, another
barbecue,
black
another
owned.
black
I'm
owned
telling
spot.
you, man,
Yeah.
my folks, they've been with me. So, so I used to work with her for a couple years while her sons played at Skyline with us playing football. So, that was my first job.
Were you a waiter?
I was like I would take the cashier and then I would maybe be like a prep to hand the food off.
Okay.
But it was my early experience, serving people, right? Like customer service and, being again around an entrepreneur in a family business. And then the summer right before I went to college, I worked at the Jack London location.
Okay.
So definitely Everett Jones, shout out. Like that was my beginning of like being in business. And then even while I was in school, all my jobs were kind of customer facing. I worked in the copy room. That's how I used to get my little books together, get that book, run them copies and get that book back, man.
Oh, so you didn't pay for the books, you copied the books.
Right, man. I was trying to, I was trying to make it, man. So, yeah. So,
yes, sir. So that took off. So you were exposed to like businesses and seeing how businesses run, right? And you said to yourself, I want to do this. I want to create my own business. Now, let me ask you, why wine? Because I know you've been doing the wine thing for a long time, Jerry. You hit me up on Facebook. It was like a mixology thing like years ago.
Right.
And you were receiving donations for that. And you've been dedicated to this adult beverage grind.
Yeah.
Why adult beverages?
Well, I think that for me, right, food and really, I think about it now, wine, beer, and spirits were a big part of my family, right? Every time, most times we got together, there was going to be a bunch of good food. And then, obviously as a kid, I couldn't quite participate, but there was going to be some kind of spirit there, right? Sometimes, you see your uncle slip and you get a little sip of his beer or something. But it wasn't until I became, like right when I graduated from high school where I really could start like, oh, this is this and this is that, right? But it was always around. So, I guess, so like when I got to college, the drinking thing wasn't a big deal to me because it was always around. Like it was a part of our culture in our family. And I think it was just so good. So anyway, however, as I began to become an adult and explore what kind of business thing, I just looked and man, this wine and spirit stuff is real. I don't know if y'all know, but it's not a lot of us. I mean, especially when I started, it wasn't a bunch of us, right? When you think of the level that we consume, right? Black folks, we consume a lot of spirits, a lot of wine, a lot of beer, but we don't own many brands. And when you're talking about big brands, so it was like I felt like there was an opportunity there, right, to do that. Like there's,
Okay, for sure, man. And you said that there aren't a lot of us in the wine and liquor industry, in the adult beverage industry, especially when you started. And now I was thinking about this as I was preparing to talk to you. And let me know, am I making this up, or is it true that there seems to be a boom happening right now? There seems to be more Black people getting in the industry now than certainly I can recall, right?
Sure.
I know that there's Brown, what is it called? There's Brown Estate, which is
Yep.
in Napa. Yep. And in Napa, there's a Black-owned wine gallery out there. They've been around for a while.
Yep.
There's the Black Girl Magic Bubbly Rose, right? Which is a brand that is the McBride sisters. That's out there right now.
They dope. I
Yeah,
got to meet them when I was first getting started. They super amazing sisters.
right. There's your brand, of course, Ayaba Wines. There is Caribou, which is the Black-owned wine bar in Alameda here in the Bay Area. They were on an episode of Insecure. And so what's that about? What's that about, Jay?
Dope, man. Sis, she's from Kenya. I'm saying she's like, there's so many, like, I think what you're right on target, right? Like, I think
it
definitely
seems
is
like,
a boom around. Like, I don't know if you just saw the sister from Uncle Nearest that started Uncle Nearest. Her name escapes me this moment, but they just, I think, got valuated at $1 billion. I believe it happened maybe a month ago or so. So Uncle Nearest was the whiskey master who helped Jack Daniels get started.
Yeah.
Right. Her sister, her and her husband bought the original distillery where all this was being made, and she rebranded it or launched the brand. And so they're dope, and it's good whiskey. It's real good whiskey too.
Yeah, man. So okay. So I'm not making this up because I'm on the outside looking in. There are people, there are a lot of Black people that seem to be investing in this particular brand. And how does that make you feel as a person? You've been around for a while.
Right.
How does that does that make your job easier? Does it kind of make you feel less stressed, or do you feel like oh, y'all just hopping in? I'm an OG in this. Like, how does that make you feel?
No, it's great, right? It's great. It is good to see, right? You being in spaces, and now, you're not the only one, right? I think for some folks who were in wine industry, let's say 10 years and prior, you go into a tasting room or into a wine cellar, and you might see one Black person that works there. It might only be one Black customer. Right now, you're seeing more and more, and I think it's a beautiful thing, right? It's representation, and so I'm excited. I think it lends for a lot of opportunities of collaboration. It's good stuff. And again, we consume so much. It's plenty. It's plenty for everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So look, let's back it up, man, a little bit, man, because Jerry Bailey, if people don't know, you were a standout football player. You're a standout football player, and in high school at Skyline High School, right?
Yeah.
And you went to Columbia on a football scholarship. Yes, that's the Columbia University. That is the Ivy League school. Columbia, straight from Oakland, California to Columbia. Yeah, that's right.
That was a ride, bro.
I can only imagine. And there you were also a standout guy at Columbia, and at one point you were an NFL prospect. And I just want you to speak to that journey from going from NFL prospect to, okay, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. What was that like? Were you disillusioned for a second? Was it a smooth transition? Was it rough? What was it like from that space, from NFL prospect to Ayaba?
Man, it was challenging, man. It was challenging. I think that for many athletes, right, your identity is tied to also being an athlete. Actually, I wrote this paper my senior year around that, what I was experiencing, and the fact that the psychological challenges that many athletes face when either they retire, right, either just by age or injury or whatever, and how to get to their next place. Because I was really trying to figure that out for myself. And so, yeah, it was tough. Like, okay, so who am I? Because I had been this football player, right, since starting playing with Oakland Dynamites, Little League, right? So
OD, shout out OD.
Right. And it's like, again, that was for our era, right? That was like part of the culture, and it made you like part of you're a young man from Oakland. You played for Oakland Dynamites, you played in the OL, whatever. Like, and then, I had the fortune of going and playing in college. And so really in between my junior and senior year, so my junior year, 9/11 happens, right? That was such a, that was a really tough experience. But again, I think being from Oakland, right, and dealing with tragedy and, dangerous situations, right? I guess I was a little more prepared than maybe some of my colleagues, counterparts, whatever, classmates. And so that's when I started this whole thing of like, right, how really important is football? Because so as a team, we had this vote to figure out, like, right after 9/11, if we was gonna play the game. Like, y'all trying to play a football game? Are y'all serious? Really? After what just happened? Like, y'all tripping. Anyway, so that started my mind working and thinking about, okay, is this something I really, really want to do? Is this that important? And so that was my junior year. And by senior year, I definitely had made the decision that, football probably wasn't going to be, a career choice of mine. I also had a fortune of that summer being around some former NFL players and their families. I worked for the NFL, I interned for the NFL in New York. So, I had these really cool experiences to kind of get me around NFL guys. And it was like, I mean, it's cool, but I don't know if that's for me.
What? Hey man, so you talk about growing up in Oakland and playing Dynamites and everything. Like, it was everybody's dream to play in the NFL at one point, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, because we are capable of doing so many other things, and somehow we get typecast into playing the NFL or NBA. For the most part, it was the NFL at that time, right?
Right.
And so you're close, like you're one level under. What are some things that you saw? What were you exposed to? You were just like, bruh.
Well, so the first thing happened in between my sophomore and junior year interning in the NFL, right? So I worked in player personnel. And so this is like as people are switching to digital. So I was responsible for basically taking, like, they had all these files of fines and citations they had gave players, right? And so I basically was taking those hard copies and putting them into a digital database, right? That's basically what I was doing all summer. But it was cool. I got to meet the commissioner. I think that's when Paul Tagliabue was still the commissioner there. It was a great experience. One of a Skyline guy who played ball Skyline was working at the NFL, and that's how I kind of got introduced and was able to get that internship. Anyway, to the point, during the internship, I just saw how petty, like, guys would get fined for all kind of things. I would look like, I'm looking at Dion getting fined for socks, and John Randall for the face, and just like all these things. I was like, these guys are playing football. What the hell you care about this? But it helped me to understand more that this is a brand. They are, in the NFL's mind, you are part of their brand. All that, this football thing is, that's what you're playing, but really you're an employee of the brand. That's what you are. And so it shifted my mind to see that.
Yeah, man. I think about if I could take it back further, bro. So we met, we went to elementary school together, right? And we went to a place called Grass Valley Elementary School, man. And GV, man. GV, represent.
Oh man.
And so for the people, the longtime watchers, right? First off, I want to say, one of the first videos on the channel was a video with you on it, man, talking about football. Like, if people go back to the first, I think one of the first published videos is one with you and my brother talking about football. So
amazing.
So there's that piece, but also on a page, there is a video called The Suburban Wall, and that is about how up until like the 70s, African Americans could not live on the other side of Durant Avenue. They could not live in San Leandro, California. They were pent up in East Oakland, right? And it's about segregation here in the Bay Area, right? So check that out. on this page. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because Black people could not move on into San Leandro. What happened was Black people with wealth and stability were forced to pay more for their homes, but they had to move up into the Oakland Hills. And one of the enclaves that they moved into was the Grass Valley community, okay?
Yep.
So the Grass Valley community in Oakland, there's a golf course around there, and it's up from the Oakland Zoo, right? And so there were Black people with money and who owned homes,
right?
And there was an elementary school in the center of that community.
Yeah.
And that elementary school, I later learned, was such an oasis, right? So a few kids from the flatlands were able to go there, myself included, right? And so it was a Black principal. There were predominantly Black teachers. It was almost all Black, the student body, at least like 95% Black, right?
Yes, sir.
And we thrived, right? Like we did well on tests. We were well behaved. The expectations for us were really high. They smashed on us when we got out of line.
Right.
They put us in check quickly. Shout out Miss Etheridge.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Miss Etheridge. Shout out Miss Gathers, Mr. Walls. Like they really were on us really tough.
Right.
But I went there K through 6. You went there as well. And what we learned was that we were in our formative years at a thriving Black institution, right? And also we learned it was a Black curriculum. I don't know if I may have left that part out, but we learned from the African American experience textbook.
Right.
We were singing Lift Every Voice and Sing every.
I thought that was normal.
That's what I'm saying, Jerry. That's what I'm saying. I thought that was a thing. We were singing the African American national. Remember the Martin Luther King Oratory Festival? We were prepared for that for months, and everybody had to remember a poem.
Right.
It was serious, man. It was serious. I didn't learn.
You had a good music program as well.
Come on, man. Come on. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. So that structure, I know for me, it was like, whoa, I didn't realize until I got into junior high school, like, what school did y'all go to? What is going on? Y'all cursing out the teachers? Like, I'm sitting in the front of the class, like, what y'all do? Like, what is wrong with y'all kids, right? Didn't realize that school was such an anomaly, but I'm so grateful for that experience. And I'm wondering if you share the same experience. And you are in education now. I am in education as well. I'm wondering, man, like, how did that experience impact you, my brother? And because you are now the charge of a Black-owned business.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it shaped you the same way that it shaped me.
Oh, without a doubt. The experience was so good that I sent my son there for elementary. So my son's first couple of years, right? Miss Jackson was my kindergarten teacher.
Mine too.
Yeah, she was the principal when my son went there. Yes. Right. And I thought that was
R.I.P. Miss Jackson.
Right. R.I.P. She was a heart, man, sweetheart.
Yes, she was.
But it was so beautiful for me to be able to send my son there. And the fact that there were multi-generational families there. There were folks who were there when we were there, that they were now sending their kids there. And it's such a dope thing. I know at one point they were talking about closing it. And I think the OUSD has decided they're not going to close any schools. I think I heard that yesterday or whatever. But I can't, like, and I not only the school, as you said, the school was the center of the community. So my mother and I lived in the flatlands, my childhood, but my grandparents lived up in GV. So when I would go to GV, it was like it was an oasis, like you say. So that's why I say I really grew up in two cities, I feel, at one time. It was the flat. It was an experience there. And then I would go to Grass Valley. I'd be like, they both Black folks, the same Black folks, but these Black folks, it's a total different experience, right? You got doctors, lawyers, and managers, and police folks, firemen, all the different stuff. This gamut of careers and success for Black people. And it changed, for me, it changed my perspective. It helped me to see that, as we were talking before, that Black didn't mean low performing, right? That I never made that connection to Black is low performing, right? It was, you could do whatever you want to, right? So that was my experience. I actually left Grass Valley, I think it was 2 years. My mom was trying to, I guess before there was a formal name for it, like a blended family. My father had remarried, and I had some brothers, but 2 brothers and a sister. And so we were trying to get to school, the same school. My mom tried to pitch in that. So I went to another school, and it was a horrible experience. So I came back to Grass Valley, I think 5th grade. So I finished out there 5th and 6th. So yeah, man, that was, again, me and my mom were talking about this the other day, actually. She was like, man, that was the worst decision. I should just let you stay at Grass Valley the whole way. Right. Because in some of those critical years, like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, I think I was gone. Like it, I was on such a high level, right? We were performing at a high level. Yes. And then to be put in a school where, again, I was now a minority, right? Because I didn't know what the hell a minority was. So like we all Black, the teacher Black, all the kids is Black. I knew what it was conceptually, but I wasn't experiencing it. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
And
so
then when I
the school was it predominantly Black still, or were
no, it was predominantly Hispanic.
Okay.
And there definitely was, right, some challenges around the way, in my mind, Black students were treated, right? It was the first time, right, that I was felt at all like, oh, you're not supposed to be the smartest. Girl, I know this math. Watch out. Right. I my writing, I'm working on my writing now, teacher, but that math and that science, oh, I got that. And that was a shock, a surprise, or I was sometimes discouraged. You know what I mean? Like it was, I was like, what? Like it didn't compute for me. So that was a really rough time for me and my childhood. Those 3 years I was at the other school. I said, me and mom we would happen to be talking about this a week or so ago. And then when I got back to Grass Valley, right, I had to get back ready for middle school. And then when I got to high school, I was, my confidence came back, and, I was, back to what I was before I left, right? Really good student. And obviously I was able to go to Columbia and graduate in 4 years and all that good stuff.
Just expectations, man. Like it's so important to just be in a space where people expect you to do great things.
Yeah.
And you're held to that, man. Yeah. And you leave it. Oh God, it's just like, what? I'm telling you, bro, when I got to junior high school, man, it was wild.
Right.
It was wild.
See, I think the other thing that is really important, and I think when we think about the bigger context of Black community, it's not only the expectation, but the support and resources are there, right? Me working in a high school before and recognizing when expectations are there, but the support and resources are not, there's a disconnect. You can't expect a student to perform at this level if you're not going to support them with the resources. And I think that was a combination that we had there. Not only was it expectation, but we had, parents would be around all the time, right? Like, again, it was such a family environment. It was really like a private school, right? It was so small. We knew all the family. Like I knew, oh, that's your mama, that's your daddy, right? Like we knew each other. We was so involved. And again, if a kid needed something, I don't think it would ever been a problem for the kid. Oh yeah, okay. Well, Johnny need this. Where you're gonna get it. Yeah. Right. You're gonna get whatever you needed there. And so that's another piece, right? And me now working in education and seeing it from a different perspective, where some people, they give you the expectation, but you're not giving the resources to make sure that expectation is met.
Yeah, man.
Sorry.
So yeah, it was great, and I think that like I could see that. I could see, the Grass Valley experience and how you run your business, and how you, like you said, this whole thing about Black people don't support one another. Like you're getting support from Oeste, you've gotten support from Everton Jones, you've gotten support from this Black family, this Black family of entrepreneurs and business owners here. And I think that this whole idea of that negative perception of what Black people don't do, I think that you and myself, we were able to not internalize that because of that experience we had kindergarten as young folk, man, growing up in this town, man.
For sure.
So go ahead.
As you said, like, so that didn't even come into my mind until later into my childhood, right? Because what I saw from really all the way to preschool, I don't know, did you go to Miss Gloria preschool?
I went to preschool at East My Mall, my brother.
Okay, nah, so a bunch of the GV went to Miss Gloria. I forget the real name.
Oh, the center. Yo,
right.
I didn't go to the center for preschool, but I did the after school program. The center. R.I.P. Gloria. That was Alicia Chester's mom. Gloria. Yep. Yes, I went to the center after school. Yeah. Right. And she was our music teacher. Gloria was our music teacher. Remember? She's coming to teach us music. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. So again, the fact that you can name all that off, right? Yeah. And we're talking about 30-some years ago, bro. Yeah. But the fact that we can name it off, I'm simply saying is that, so we talking about, I'm 3-4 years old seeing a Black run business with Black employees, with Black kids, right? So my formative years is Black folks and it's excellence. It's not Black equals, we got kids fighting all the time, or grown-ups they cussing each other out and they working. No, it wasn't all that. It was, we handle business. That's what you say expectations. So leaving the preschool, again, most people from the preschool went to Grass Valley. So now I'm seeing kids, that, we used to be in preschool, right? So these kids that I just grew up, and then you see their little brothers, their little sisters, right? So, but the expectation was always, in my mind, Black excellence. Yes. That was like, the kids that leave Grass, like you got to go get it. Like you ain't being a bum. Like that's not an option. And to take it to another level, it wasn't even Black excellence at the time. It was just excellence.
Excellence, right? Like, I was gonna say that, right?
You were just supposed to be excellent, right?
It's so crazy. And again, I see it with my son, right? In his experience, because he's like if you follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, I brag about him. But it's so amazing to me because he's me, but he's so much further than I was. It's amazing. Like this kid, he's like a straight A student. He's playing sports. He's playing both ways on the football team. He's the president of his class. Yeah, because he has this. For him, what you mean not to get a 4.0, right? Like that don't even make sense to him. Like, and I think that was what was instilled in me as well, right? Is to be a great student, right? Like I say, those 3 years of elementary, when I left Grass Valley, my confidence was shaken a little bit. But like I said, once I got back on track in high school, it was, you're supposed to get A's and B's. C, what is a C? Right. And I think for a lot of, unfortunately, experiences that especially young Black men have in school, a C is the expectation, just you passed, right? Where I think for us, it was A is what we expect you to get. And if you get a B, all right, we'll live with that. A C, it's problem. Like you're in trouble. Like we're having a conversation, you get on punch, like that's unacceptable. Where in other environments, young Black men grow up in other urban schools, that is the ceiling, right? Is, you got to see, you did good. No, like that, again, that never was at Grass Valley. And the folks I was around, in my mind, we shoot for A's. Or I think it was E's at that time.
E's and G's, what? E's and G's. Yeah, bro. Yo.
I need, how many E's you got? How many E's you got on that report card? That was what it was.
Man, and it was competitive, bro. And
right, who used to be?
Yeah. Like I think by the end, I think 6th grade, bro, I got like straight E's.
Right.
From Miss Gather's class. Miss Gather's class, I got like straight E's.
And them real E's too. Miss Gather's ain't no joke.
Oh man, at that time, they said later she had a child and she got more. She used to smash on us, Jerry.
Oh, Lord.
She used to smash. You talk about tough love. Oh my God.
Woo, thought she was so mean, but she was just getting us ready, man.
She was getting us ready. Listen, man, listen. Yo, she was getting us ready. I'm grateful, but some of the stuff that she did, I don't think a teacher would be able to get away with it now.
Oh, for sure not. Today it's a different world today, right? Today, right? They eventually they probably gonna get rid of grades, man. They just it's
they
so
already got
interesting.
rid of the SAT, right? And so
Right.
yeah,
Well, I mean, kind of, sort of.
You don't have to or something like that.
But again, I think it really, in my mind, like, so my child is going to take the SAT, right? Because we want to open up to any school he wants to go to in the country, right? So I think, again, in my mind, it's that lowering that bar, right? It's that, well, I don't have to take the SAT. And again, I also understand on the other side, it does have its biases. I do get that too.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not denying that piece of it. But when you don't take the SAT, okay, so now what schools are we able to apply to? Which schools really won't look at that? Like, I know some don't, but again, for my son, the level of schools he's applying to, he need that SAT.
I feel it, bro. That's
excellence. So we got to get that thing done.
Yes, sir, man. So, I see. So you're talking about your kid, man. Your kid, he's thriving, he's doing his thing, right? What is the brand Ayaba? What does that mean to your kid? And do you think that, would you pass it down to him, or do you want him to create his own path? Yeah. What does the brand mean to your son?
That's dope. That's a great question. I don't know, right? Because he's a teenager. So dad's like, dad is not cool anymore, right? Like, right? Like 10, 11 younger, right? Dad is cool. You want to hang out with him. I think for him, he sees a lot of the work that I've had to put in. He sees a lot of the late nights, the packing and getting ready for events, doing the whole event, packing back up, unpacking into the store, right? He sees a lot of the work. He's like, damn. Oh no, I want to do all that, Dad. Like, so I think, so I'm not sure, but it's really interesting because who is it? It's just a hair care company just sold last week or so. And there has been this dialogue around what is success for a Black company. Is it that you build it and you sell big and you make a whole bunch of money and you get out the way and whatever? Or is it that you build a legacy brand where it gets passed on to your children, your children's children, you know what I mean? And it keeps going. So I don't know, man, like in my mind, I would love to be a legacy brand, right? In my mind, we'll see what happens. But like when you think of Gallo, the biggest wine company in the world, they're on their like 5th generation of Gallos that run that damn company, and they, no hate on them. Don't come get me, Gallos. But right. And so this Italian, hard-nosed guys built this company, right? They sneak through prohibition. They have to wiggle. They have to be strategic. I think they sell to like the Catholic Church because they're the only ones that could get wine at the time. So, and they survived that period. And then after that, blow back up, right? So, and again, do you want to be that? Like, to me, why is it that, and this is a bigger concept, like, why do we have to do that? Why do we have to, as Black companies, sell so much, right? Because when I look at other cultures, right, like, again, our brown sisters and brothers, like, they always going to have their businesses, their TV network, their radio stations that preserve and celebrate their culture, right? Without interference from an outside group. When we look at our Asian brothers and sisters, same thing. Newspapers. You go to downtown Oakland, where Chinatown is, the banks even have, even if it's an American bank, it's going to have Chinese on the front.
Chinese on the street sign.
On the street, right.
Diagonally, as they do in Asian countries.
In their country. So they have, y'all do y'all thing, restaurant this Oakland, But in our area, we want our culture, our community represented and celebrated.
Sure.
And that is the piece to me. As Black folks, we need to see more. We need to see more companies that represent and celebrate our culture and our community. The challenge is that when we do the buyout, it's gone, right? It ain't yours no more. It's main culture now owns this. So for a little bit, they may keep what you got going on just to whatever, but eventually they don't make no sense for them. They don't get it. Like, what's the value proposition? Why would I do this? That's for y'all. But I own this now. I'm gonna do what's for my culture, for my community, in my mind, right? And I'm not saying it in a way that I'm not knocking anybody, right? I think we all should celebrate our cultures, and we can celebrate each other's culture. However, we need that. Like, I just did this talk for Kwanzaa. I don't know if you saw it on my IG talking about Black Napa, right? Again, we do a lot of, how do I say this? Again, it in my mind, it has to be a balance, right? I'm not saying it needs to be this total separatist thing. I'm not for that. I love cultures and different people mixing and mending and coming together. And though where our spot at? Where's right? Most wine in this country comes from California, right? And if I told you, right, if I had, 50 Black millionaires and said, hey, we want to do a tour of all the Black wineries that have vineyards, estates, and also have winery, let's go do it. You gonna take them to 2 spots? Where you gonna take them? So that is the challenge, right? In my mind, in the spirits game, even on the spirit side, what Black area that we can go and say, okay, I got 50 million there. We want to go let's just go taste some Black spirits.
Right.
But I guess to really like sum up that question is what I've talked to my son about is that even if you don't want to run Ayaba, right? Keep it. Maybe you have a kid or two that decides, oh, I'm really into what grandpa did. Let me take it over, Pops, right? But again, if I don't need the big payout of selling the brand, or if the brand is not going to die, then I would like to make it a legacy brand, but we'll see, right? You got to build it. Legacy brands are built like a marathon, right? But if you get into kind of the VC world of raising money in that way, right, you can build a brand a lot faster and a lot bigger. But at some point, you gotta get everybody out of there, so you got to pay them out a lot.
I wanna ask you 2 questions, man, and one is, why do you think that Black business owners seem to be much more susceptible to the buyout than other cultures? And then also, I see Ayaba, I see the brand at the places that I go to. I see you on Facebook promoting the brand. I have bought the brand. I've had people, Aqua Black, I've sold it at my events. I love the brand.
Thank you.
It looks glamorous
Right.
to me. Like, Jerry Bailey's a boss and he's doing this thing. I see you at First Friday on Telegraph. Y'all got the little thing sectioned off, selling Ayaba, and it looks great. It's exciting to me. But could you speak to what are some of the behind the scenes things that entrepreneurs need to be aware of that aren't so fly, that aren't so sexy, that are very, very, very challenging? So first part, why are Black folks so susceptible to the buyout? And 2, what's it really like to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah. In my mind, it's the generational poverty, right? So many generations of living in poverty that when you got this wop sitting in front of you, this not like that, but money, you got this big,
Money.
big,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro. No, I see where you're going. I see where you're going.
Right.
We're gonna get back on track. We're gonna get back on track.
Right.
But it seems like what you're saying, it also sounds like it sounds similar to how gentrification happens.
Right.
When you sell your Victorian home for 200,000 and it's worth way more than that, right?
Of course, because
and it means something to the community. Go ahead.
for sure, because you haven't touched that much money, right? Like again, when they look at the wealth disparity between whites and blacks, it's so huge, man. Like we just don't have the wealth, right? Like, so, you know, our former president, Donald Trump, he talks about, oh, when he wanted to start his business, he asked his father for a small $1 million loan.
Right.
Bro, where the hell am I going to get $1 million from, Roger?
Yeah.
And like, if I had $1 million, oh God, this brand would be so much bigger, so much more amazing, right? And we'll get there, but it's just, so I don't have that resource, right? But I got to compete with people that do. So that's the interesting piece. So when you don't have that as a resource, getting to your second question, then now you're bootstrapping everything, right? I got to take a little bit over here to put that over there. And then I can't pay that right now. Let me keep working this. I need to get these couple cases off. Boom. Okay, finally I can pay for that. All right, now I got to do this, right? So you're really trying to figure it out as you go, because you really are underfunded. Most Black businesses are severely underfunded, including mine, right? Because we just don't have it. Like I don't have no mom and daddy that got, you know, a couple meal tickets just waiting on. You know, we don't have that. And so we have to figure it out in a different way, but that's what we've been doing. As a people, we've been surviving and figuring things out in this country, right? So we're going to keep doing it. And I think, like I say, it just takes for some of us not to just hold that thing, right? Like you think about, again, it's just these brands that have been around for so long, right? Like Coca-Cola. Like how much Coke has Black folks bought? Like how much Coca-Cola? Imagine if it was whatever that Black Coke could be, right? What if a Black person had started Coke the same time Coca-Cola started, and they still had it in their family? What would that brand mean to us today? Right. And I think people know that, because we think of places, and it's probably one of the most popular, but we think about Black Wall Street, right? Tulsa, Oklahoma. But there were a whole bunch of other Black Wall Streets where they had banks and businesses and doctors' offices and schools. If those things are allowed to survive and thrive, what would that look like today? That happened in 1920, I believe. What 100 years later, what does that city look like if it's never touched? If they don't go and bomb and pillage that place, and then there's probably another 25 or 30 incidents of something similar happening in other parts of this country. If those cities are allowed to thrive, what happens, Roger? Now we got those bases, we got the resources. It's a different world. And again, give an analogy. Sorry, I'm getting excited. But the Black Coke, right? The Black Coke now becomes, think about what Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is able to do with all the money they have. Like they do so much philanthropic stuff all over the world. So imagine the Black Coke, what kind of philanthropic things could they do in the Black community or whatever community? But I'm just saying specifically the Black community. How would that change the way our schools look? How would that change the way kids think about themselves? How would that change the access to money for businesses, for houses, for like, it's sorry, so much to say on it. So going to business school messed me up because it helped me to really see the money behind everything. Like that comment, oh, it's not about money. Yes, it is. In America, it's always about money, right? You could vote, you could go to school, but as long as I keep you impoverished, I don't give a damn. Do what you want to do, but I'm gonna keep you poor. I'm gonna put systems in place to keep you poor. That's what we're gonna do, because you're gonna make poor decisions. So, yeah, man. So it's a really challenging situation. I don't know what the answer. I don't know how, but my little work is working on Ayaba.
Yeah, man. So yeah, having to do everything yourself, and not being able to get those loans is very challenging, right?
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, what does success look like for your brand?
Mm.
How could things be easier for you? And what is the future of your brand? Are things getting easier as you, because it seems like you're getting a lot of exposure. You were in the, what was it? Hold on now. You were in the San Francisco Business Chronicle.
Business
You
times.
were
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
San Francisco Business Times, a cover story,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
I'm looking at those things, man, and I'm hoping that this is opening doors for you.
It is.
And so what does success look like for you? What's the future? What's the vision for Ayaba?
Right. So we're still like, I'm technically not even a small business yet. Right. We're still a micro business. We are in retrospect to what business is doing in the US. I'm micro, bro. I'm not even there yet. So there's a lot of growth to happen. Right. What I really envision this company being is the leading brand in the African diaspora across the world, right? We want to be international. You know, Ayaba means queen in a language of Yoruba.
Yes,
So we
sir.
want to celebrate again our culture and community throughout the world because we are everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's no part on the planet where you can't find a Black person. So
Yeah.
um, that's what it looks like, you know, and a big payout. That's not my goal right now, right? Like I don't see that. I see myself and the team as I build it, really grinding and building this thing for the next couple decades, right? And you know, getting in distribution and you know, again, the things that some of the bigger brands, right? You see again, how much money do we spend on Hennessy,
Way
right?
too much.
Right. And I think they just announced again last week. Moet Hennessy is the #1 brand in the world now. The guy he just passed Amazon Bezos to be the richest man in the world.
Wow.
Anyway, so that's Moet Hennessy, and a few other brands that go along with this. But so anyway, so again, that's not I'm not trying to be the richest man in the world, right? But again, what can I do, right? If I just get the Hennessy part of that, right? Just again in this make believe world, if a Black person really started and owned the Hennessy, what can they do besides just making money? Making money is cool, but what impact can you now have, right? Like how many things do we see Hennessy on? How many things are they sponsoring? Like we see Hennessy everywhere, right? We came with Hennessy possible, right? Hour ago.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible, right? Like, and we're saying that. So what if that is a Black brand? Right? Like that's my goal is the impact piece.
Right.
What I want to impact our culture and community.
Yeah.
I want to see us do well, man. I think we just, man, right. Working with some of those young people just showed me how much talent, just untapped talent we have in our community. Just amazing minds and beautiful people that just have a tough time. It's gonna be tough going for them. And I think I can help. And I think we all can help.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Last question, man. Ayaba means queen.
Yeah, yeah.
And how important was it for you to name your brand Queen in Yoruba? That's a language spoken in Nigeria.
Yep.
And how important was it for you to name your brand after an African queen? And how important are Black women to
Woo, brother.
everything that you do?
Brother, you are we could spend another hour and a half talking about the amazingness of Black women, right? Like again, the more I learn about again our culture, our history, like just Black women have endured so much. And I just think about the Black women in my life, right? From my mother, my grandmother, my aunts, my cousins, my sisters, right? Like my god sisters, it's just they love on me so much.
Mhm.
I mean, my brand today, like shout out my Danielle over at 510 Media, which is another Black brand marketing company out of brothers from Oakland. It's a sister within the company. She does all my branding,
Mhm.
right? So sister made that.
Mhm.
That logo, the label, a sister did that, right? My social media, a sister runs that.
Mhm.
Shout out to My Creative Way, Danielle. It's like
What's Danielle's last name? Do you know?
Danielle Emerson.
Danielle Emerson.
The other one is Danielle Allen, right? You know, you mix them up, but
Yeah.
right, she runs all my social media. She's helping me with the marketing piece.
510 Media. Mhm.
Yeah. So it's man, I know I wouldn't be where I am today without sisters, right?
Yeah.
They like I think about school, right? And even in college, right? Like the smartest people I know, right? One of the smartest ladies I know, she's now a professor at Princeton.
Yeah.
That girl, she used to knock me over the side of the head, help me get that writing together. But right, but solid, right?
Yeah.
Solid, and so again, so talented and amazing and supportive. And I just, I think as brothers, sometimes we get into our ego thing, and sometimes we don't really give our ladies, not even in a romantic, but just our sisters, we don't give them the credit, the love that they really deserve, right? Because every movement in our community, from Black Panther to MLK to Garvey, right? Sisters do so much in those movements. Sisters are at the core of that. The brothers may have the vision, they may carry it, but the actual hands and feet on the ground, feeding, flyering, talking, whatever, it's the sisters. They get to it. They get stuff done, brother. And I love them for it, man. And I think they should be celebrated more. And so that's part of my mission. And so we're gonna do that.
Yeah, yes, sir. We gonna do it with the Nefertiti. Ayaba brand.
Yeah, man. Look out, dude. We got 2 more flavors coming.
Ooh,
You got the white peach. We have our red berry coming, which will be a red sangria with some berry, kind of more traditional sangria, but our own little twist. And then we have watermelon rosé coming after that. So yeah, man. So we're gonna have a red, a white, and a rosé, man. So we're excited. We moving, we grooving.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Jerry Bailey, thank you so much for the time. How can the people reach you, man, on the socials, man?
Right. At Ayaba Wines on everything. IG is what we use mostly. Please follow us, hit us up, and then our website, www.ayabawines.com. We out here.
Beautiful website, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, another sister
designed that.
Is that right? Yeah. Another sister you ain't shouted out yet?
Nah. So this sister I found on one of the sites. Like, she was hired, but she's a sister in Africa. So I purposed, like, I guess I ain't never met her, so I don't know. But it was a sister. So that's how I picked her.
All right, man. Well, look, man, Jerry Bailey is super busy, man, but he made time for the tribe, man. Support that. Support his business, please. We need to support one another, like we support Hennessy, like we support Cadillac, like we support Nike, support Ayaba in the same way, with the same passion. My God.
Let's go.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Man, tribe, y'all know what to do, man. Y'all know what to do. Until next time, y'all. Peace, tribe. And another.